What's up, Star Wars nerds, and welcome to another episode of Brett on Fett. For today's episode, we're going to be talking about all of this week's new reveals from Hasbro. We'll talk about the good, the bad, the meh, and the head scratchers. Let's get to it. Welcome back to the channel. This is Brett on Fett, episode 5, and like I said, we're going to be talking all about the latest reveals from Hasbro that came out this week. As a Star Wars action figure YouTuber, I think I'm obligated by law to cover this stuff, guys, but on a serious note, it is exciting, and hopefully I'll give you my raw opinion on these things. I've tried to avoid other YouTubers' recaps for this event, just to make sure you're getting an unbiased true reaction opinion from me on this stuff. But anyways, I believe on Tuesday we had two reveals, one for Black Series, one for Vintage Collection that went on pre-sale, and then on Wednesday we had Hasbro's Fan First Wednesday where they do a live stream announcing all their latest products. And from that, I believe they had 11 new reveals for Black Series and 5 new reveals for Vintage Collection, including a playset. So I'm going to go through these as quick as possible. I'll spend a little more time on Vintage Collection since I'm a Vintage Collection guy. If you need a little more in-depth thoughts and opinions on Black Series figures, I highly recommend checking out reviews from the YouTubers I know that specialize in Black Series, such as Out of the Basement, Universal Collector, and Luke Ness Monster. Those guys do a great job. I'm sure they're going to do an awesome job covering the Black Series figures in depth. So anyways, let's get to it. Alright, so looking at the two reveals that came before Hasbro's Fan First Wednesday, I'm going to start with the Black Series, and this is the Darktrooper from Season 2 of The Mandalorian. And I gotta tell you, this thing is awesome. The glossiness, the screen accuracy. I knew the first time I saw this character on the show that I had to have the figure. And I'm primarily a Vintage Collection collector, but I do pick up Black Series figures every now and then, the ones that I really like, and I'm definitely picking this up. In fact, I've already pre-ordered 2 of these bad boys, one to keep in the box and one to display. I've got to have one out of the box, even though I'm an inbox collector. That's how good this figure looks. The only bad news about this figure is that even though you now can pre-order it, according to Entertainment Earth and Big Bad Toy Store, this thing is not going to be released until May 2023. Bruh. And the second early reveal we got this week from Hasbro was for the Vintage Collection, and it's Din Djarin, aka the Mandalorian, in the Imperial tank driver uniform disguise. And it's a good looking figure. I really like, that it's something different we haven't seen from the Mandalorian on the previous releases. And whenever they reveal a new figure like this, I always like to speculate on what the card back might look like the image and everything. And I really think with this release, we're going to finally get a version of Din Djarin with his helmet off, where we actually see the actor Pedro Pascal's face. And so I brushed up on my very amateurish Photoshop skills and put together an image of what I think this card back may look like. And this is what I came up with for the card back. I think this is a pretty good shot of him standing straight up, facing towards the camera. Decent lighting. So I think there's a good chance that this might be the image or very close to what we might see for this figure. And I have some very good reasons, at least in my opinion, of why I believe this card back will feature Mando without his helmet. And the first being, if you put an image of him with the helmet on, what is there to distinguish him from just any other regular Imperial tank driver, which you may have a figure released for later? The other reason is, given there's so many Mandalorian releases, if Hasbro ever wanted to do one where you see his face on the card back, the time would be now. Because he's only removed his helmet 3 different times on the series. The first being at the finale of Season 1 when he had the beat up Beskar and he was injured. We've already got that figure on VC-177. The second time was when he was in that tank driver uniform disguise, which we don't have yet. And then the third time was in the season finale of Season 2 where he had the clean Beskar, which we have with VC-181. So I really think it makes sense that they would take advantage of this scene where he's wearing the tank driver uniform without a helmet to be the first Mando card back with no helmet. Okay, so now I just want to quickly go through the announcements from this past Wednesday, February 9th, the Fan First Wednesday from Hasbro. And we're going to start with just going through the Black Series releases. These are archive releases. These are repacks, starting with the C-3PO. It doesn't have that vac metal look we're still waiting for, where it's super metallic looking, but it's a decent paint job. And I might actually buy this one because I don't have a decent 3PO in my collection. Then there's Dengar. This is an awesome figure. I love the TVC version I have of him. I don't have the Black Series one. I'm not sure if I'll get it or not, but it's definitely a great figure. And if you don't have a Dengar already in your collection, I definitely recommend you go and get this one. Now, this one makes no sense to me. The Lando Calrissian Skiff Guard, it wasn't that long ago the original version of this figure was released. And I think it was a peg warmer. You know, Lando's always seemed to be a peg warmer. And I just don't understand why they want to release this one again, at least so soon. Then there's Emperor Palpatine. The original version of this came with this throne. I'm not sure how many people want this figure without his throne. It's a good looking figure. If you don't have the Emperor, then it's definitely worth checking out. Then there was the Gaming Greats reveal. This one is the Night Brother Archer from the game Star Wars Jedi Fallen Order. Very cool looking figure. I think it's the second Night Brother they've had in Black Series. And next, I think, was the best reveal for the Black Series of the show was the Pipeline reveals with the figures Aayla Secura, Darth Maul from Clone Wars Season 7, and Saw Gerrera from Star Wars Rogue One. I think all three of these will be a home run, especially Maul and Saw Gerrera. Maul on Vintage Collection from Season 7 Clone Wars is one of my favorite TVC figures, and it's going to be awesome in Black Series. And I can't wait to see what they do with Saw Gerrera, who we haven't seen in either Vintage Collection or Black Series yet. So I think those are all three going to be great. And finally, for the Black Series, it was the Archive Pipeline reveal. So these are future re-releases of figures that have previously come out in Black Series. And these were kind of meh for me. The first, just a total head scratcher. I don't know who's asking for more sequel trilogy figures, much less Old Man Han Solo. I just think the sequel trilogy is at an all-time low right now for demand. I think that's a total miss to put old Han Solo in there. Chewbacca's fine. He's classic. So many people already have him. Grand Moff Tarkin, maybe my favorite of these reveals. Because I like to see what they do with the photoreal technology for his face, and I'm sure they'll upgrade. And then Leia Bouche, however you pronounce it. You know, we've had so many of those. It's fine. It's a cool figure. Just meh for me. Okay, so next I want to talk about the reveals for the Vintage Collection, starting with this playset. This is the Jabba's Palace / Bib Fortuna's Palace / Boba Fett Palace Throne Room playset, and this thing is pretty awesome. It's pretty big. It's got a lot of detail, a ton of accessories. Personally, I'm not a playset guy, mainly because I'm a mint-on card collector, and also because I just don't have the room to set up these things. But I am excited for you loose collectors that like to set up your figures in these scenes. It looks like a really awesome playset. Now, the main catch, though, is the price. This thing is going to be $229.99. Ouch. I am shocked that they actually breached the $200 mark. But at least it comes with its own fat version of Bib Fortuna, so you can reenact your own Star Wars universe Weight Watchers scenario. So, you know, there's that. Next up is a re-release of a 501st Clone Trooper, but this time it's on a Clone Wars card back. You may recall the original Clone Trooper 501st was on a Revenge of the Sith card back. But I really like this new card back, and I like the idea of doing re-releases with new cards. Because it just gives you more variety and it maintains the specialness or value of the original release for those who had that. So I like this.
I like it a lot.
Then there was a reveal of the Yoda on an Empire Strikes Back card back. Classic. I don't know how we haven't gotten this yet as long as Vintage Collection's been on, but at least better late than never. Can't wait for this one. And finally, there was the Vintage Collection Pipeline reveals. And there was only two. It was the Anakin Skywalker from Episode 2, Attack of the Clones, and the Mandalorian Commando from Season 7 of the Clone Wars. And with the 20th anniversary of Attack of the Clones coming up, I was not at all surprised they announced this Anakin Skywalker. Before this, the only version we had of him from Episode 2 was the peasant disguise Anakin. So it was long overdue to have the traditional Jedi outfit Anakin from Episode 2. So not at all surprised, but where I was disappointed is that they didn't also announce a couple of other main characters from Episode 2, namely Padme and her Droid Factory outfit, and Count Dooku. I mean, come on guys, how do we not have Count Dooku yet in the Vintage Collection? I mean, he's the main villain of Episode 2, and you have this 20th anniversary coming up, and you still don't announce him. It's Christopher Lee. What more is there to say?
You disappoint me. Surely you can do better.
Give us a Count Dooku on the Vintage Collection card. And last but not least, they announced another Mandalorian Commando. And I love this. I can't get enough of these Mandalorian troopers, warriors, commandos. Give me all of them, different colors, every day, all day. Really excited about that one.
I like it a lot.
Okay, so the pre-orders already went up for the Black Series Darktrooper and the Vintage Collection Din Djarin Morak this past Tuesday, so you can go pre-order those at all your favorite retailers. The rest go on sale for pre-order today, February 10th, 2022 at 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Again, at all your favorite major retailers, with the exception of the playset, which is a Hasbro Pulse exclusive, and I believe in Europe and the UK is a fan channel exclusive. So let me know in the comments what you guys think about all these new Hasbro reveals. What are you excited about? What are you going to pass on? What do you think about that TVC playset? Are you willing to spend that kind of money? And what do you think about my prediction for the card back for the new Din Djarin tank driver? Anyways guys, thanks for joining me again. I appreciate it. Thanks to all my subscribers, and we'll see you next time.